Okay, part 2 of my equipment review. Just need to mention that I didn't say in the first one is it's been about 2 years since I did my last video of my equipment, so my equipment's changed a little bit since then. Definitely new pedals, some new guitars have changed, probably not the ones I'll be showing on here. Amp hasn't changed either. In my first video I reviewed or went over basically these 4 pedals in my chain. I'm now going from Electro Harmonix 3 into the Blackstar HT Dual. First channel, Blackstar HT Dual, is a clean channel. I use for clean. Everything's clean. This is always on. This is my my amp's always clean, but this because this has 2 valves in it, one for clean, one for dirt basically. And I always have this on for clean, and then when I switch to distortion on here, it goes on to distortion, then you flick it back on, it goes back onto clean, etc. as you'd expect. The distortion on here I only really use with the Stratocaster. I do occasionally use it with my humbucking guitars, but only for sort of a solo boost or something like that. This switch here controls this. It's either clean channel or crunch channel, whereas this is just distortion channel, and I as I said, I always have this on clean. They have independent level knobs which control the volume, which is really handy. They're stacked on top of each other, as you can see there. ISF knob basically controls whether it sounds British or an American sound. From noon to right, all the way right, it sounds like a British amp. Say Laney and Marshall, depending where you put it. From noon all the way left, it sounds like American amp, Fender, Mesa Boogie, etc. 3-band EQ only works for both channels. So there's no independent channel for the distortion from the clean. But I use an EQ for my distortion for my heavier guitars anyway, or heavier sounding guitars even, so I'll get back to that later. They have independent gain channels though, also stacked, which is handy. And from the Blackstar HT Dual we go into my latest pedal, the Electro Harmonix Micro POG. This is a really cool pedal. It's a polyphonic octave generator, motherfucker. As you can see, standard red LED. Basically, you've got 3 knobs on it. Sub-octave, which basically, as you can tell, dials in the sub-octave. Upper octave dials in the upper octave. I tend to use this either with all the sub-octave in and no upper octave in, or upper octave about 2 o'clock and dry all the way up. So anywhere between about 2 o'clock and 5 o'clock, which is all the way up, for the dry. This makes a church organ sort of sound when it is set like this. It is a very leveled up bassy sound when it's set like this. I tend to use it, if I use this with the freeze, which is like a sustain pedal on an organ. If I use this signal to freeze my signal in general, sorry, I had it, there we go, it's on the latch. Say if I froze a chord there and it's just droning on, and I wanted a bit of change of pace, but I wanted to keep the same chord, the same key, etc. I tap this on, and now it sounds like someone's all of a sudden pressed the exact same chord on a church organ. And then when I get bored of that, I can turn that off, and it's still the same sound droning on, carrying on, until I take the freeze off. For me, this is a really cool pedal. I use it clean, and I also use it after distortion for sort of octave effects, but rarely. But it's a really cool pedal. It's starting to make its own way in the chain here. Moving on from the POG, I go on to the Boss CE2 chorus. This is, I think it's 1989. I'm gonna have to check it and find out. This is the nicest. I've had so many chorus pedals. This is the nicest chorus pedal I've ever owned. Probably the best one around, apart from the Roland C1. But you don't want to pay that kind of money. It's massive. So this is the closest thing, unless you can afford that. This is the nicest one I've ever seen. And this is end of 2, because I'm going to do these for 5 minutes only, because they just won't Bluetooth otherwise. Stay tuned for part 3.